Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Hearthcenter, your Tuesday night show, bringing you the biggest excitement out of our last THL week, week number 5. I am Lotus Knight, one of your hosts for tonight, and I am joined by some great faces here. We have on our top left corner, he's been in the show, I don't even know how many times. He's one of our most common guests as of late. The extraordinary player who I don't know if he's number one on crossover, but he's really high on crossover and is crushing it this season. We have Nails. Nails, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. On our bottom right corner, he's been here every week this season, I think, maybe one not. A regular member of our cast, the other player who's doing crazy good on crossover, Neji Boston. Neji, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me again.
My pleasure. And last but not least, we have a surprise host here tonight, returning after a season and a half. The extraordinary Desharmo, everyone's favorite ex-board members here. Desharmo, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good for this surprise cameo.
Right? um, I'm super excited. We have a lot to talk about. I'm going to move it straight in because now we have 4 series to cover. It's even more than well, before we had BGs, but BGs was a weird ball game. And I want to make sure we can get through everything. So, We're going to start with our player of the week. And to read our first player of the week, Neji, tell us who's our hero player of the week?
Yeah, our hero player of the week is Jespin. A heroic sweep from Jespin this week denied points and was enough to give FTBall Black a close-fought victory over their opponents. And in a clustered teal conference, it helps FTBall Black hold on to first place with teams nipping at their heels.
Nice. Desharmo, tell us who is our legacy player of the week?
Legacy player of the week is a German Shep. Monster Prep clinched yet another week for Season 21 THL Legacy Series team with a 5-game all-out brawl versus Infinite. Roping Yep didn't seem phased by being down going into the final 2 games, but took his time, a lot of it, every turn, and stays at an undefeated record for his troubles. Johnny Depp has a new yard, and this yard's owner should probably follow city regulations and put up beware of dog signs.
Nice. And not last, but our third player of the week. Nails, do you want to tell us who's our Pro EU player of the week?
Our Pro EU player of the week is Jack Attack. If you thought things were settling in EU Pro, check again. Last week, Panincooks took out the last standing undefeated team in a tight 15-13 contest. The Jack Attack came in clutch with a 3-1 victory over League of Nations resident GM. Huge personal victory and a huge victory for the Panincooks as they head into the back half of the season.
Nice. And last but not least, Desharmo, do you want to tell us who is our final pro player of the week?
Yes, of course. Our final pro player of the week is Edelweiss, facing the number 1 team in Pink Series. Sogoi needed some big wins from its players. Edelweiss was one of those players. With her 3-1, it helped Sogoi get the win with only 1 point. A 3-2 would have been a tie for the week. This shows Sogoi can play with the big dogs, and big weeks like this is what they need to make a splash into the postseason.
So with that, we're done with player of the week. Congratulations to Jespin, German Chef, Jack Attack, and Edelweiss. Everyone ready to hop into Hero Series?
Do it.
Alright, so our first Hero Series match we're going to talk about is a Wake Past Midnight facing At Least We Don't Have Chicken. And let me make sure I am saying the...
Hold on. I got some breaking news here.
Oh, go ahead.
There is going to be a legacy player of the week this week.
Ooh. Who's that spicy winner?
The legacy winner is Lotus Knight. Lotus Knight came in with his match with a lot of baggage. A new interview show to run, personal loss, being so busy that he couldn't practice, and the fate of his team week is in his hands. On top of that, Dragon Ninja started up this match 2-0, swiftly pushing Lotus Knight's mage, and then after reverse sweep, the Blue Naga Cult captain was able to clutch out a win and keep the team undefeated past through the halfway point of the season. Call this man Lotus Might, because the only thing bigger than his Brazilian biceps is his win record.
Aww. I don't know who wrote that, but I do want to give a very special thanks to that person. It was a great match against Dragon Ninja, and yeah, I had a great time, and I'm very thankful for this.
Congratulations on winning Player of the Week, Lotus.
Thank you. Thank you a lot. So with that out of the way, and I do want to thank whoever it was that submitted this. Shall we move into Hero now?
Let's do it.
All right. So Awake Past Midnight versus At Least I Don't Have Chicken. Neji, do you want to tell us what happened there?
Sure. We had At Least I Don't Have Chicken beating Awake Past Midnight 15-9. I won 3-1 over German Shep. Justin swept J Rich. Journey in Battle 3-1 over C-Mac. Bone Masher 3-2 over Skirt Reynolds, and You Kitten Me 3-0 over Laughing Frog. It was a nice win for us. We were 1-3 on the season, so definitely needed some points, and we're going up against the top team in purple, so had a bit of a challenge on our hands, and got a lot of points done. We won the first 3 matches of the week, so the other team only had 1 point. We thought we were going to get a few more, but they did come back and win the other 2 matches, so well done by them. I can say my match with Shep, the first game, I had 2 nulls on the board on turn 2, so that one was pretty good.
Ooh.
And
Would
the
want
series kind of
Hearthcenter.
continued like that. I did a bit of gaming,
Yeah.
but it do happen sometimes.
Nails, any thoughts you want to share about APM versus at least I don't have chicken?
It's really rare that the crossover race gets done a solid by Neji winning, but that's how it is this season. So good job knocking Shep down a peg. Other than that, good for APM to after an 0-3 start, bouncing back is really good for the scoreline. It's a tight playoff race, and so good job to those guys.
Sure.
And I mean, obviously, good job to at least I don't have chicken starting up 9-1. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's move into our second match of the night. Just to make sure our show ends in time. Desharmo, tell us about F2L Black facing the Unknown.
Yeah, this was a tough week for us this week. I'll be honest, my captain duties have been lacking the past few weeks due to hard work schedules, but my team has still been able to make it real tight. And this is one of those matches where the team that wins is not the team that wins the most games. The F12 Black got 2 crucial sweeps in the bottom 2 seeds, as well as a 2 3-2s in the 1 and the 3. It came down to the last match, which was myself and Itachi, and I was close, very close to a sweep actually on Itachi to get that tie, but Itachi's, being a great player that he is, was able to get out one more point off of me and giving F2L Black the win for the week. The Unknown has been struggling a little bit, especially in the top 2 seeds. Booze came in with a sick sub, beating the ridiculous Hat. And Hat being under 400 PR is ridiculous. So in the
Yeah.
3 seed, but Booze is amazing there too, and should not be at that PR either.
Yeah.
What was surprising to me, Totino's is really strong this season. I mean, I guess that's not surprising, but sweeping 2-star Mako, that's surprising, and a big PR difference there. Just buying over Thalfix, Thalfix, great player, struggling a little bit this season. Still very strong 4 seed, but just buying getting a big 3-0 win over Thalfix, and came down
For
real
sure.
close, really close match. And the Purple Conference, like as you said, is just ridiculously close. I mean, the 1 through the 4 seed are 7 points away.
Yeah.
And everybody is got at least 2 losses. I would say even Vosh was a baller is not out of this.
No, I don't think we've seen it. We'll get to talk more about the standings soon, but I don't think we've seen a race this tight or this open in a very long time. But I want to ask a second opinion about this match, and I kind of want to bring an interesting point here, Neji. We're seeing almost every class see play last week. It's almost like something happened.
Yeah, we might have had some balance changes. We had a lot of buffs and some nerfs to some key cards, and we're seeing a lot more class diversity. I'm not sure that if that's because more classes are actually good or if people are just trying more things because of the nerfs and buffs. But
Sure.
yeah, that I
Classes had to
mean, we
be
see
submitted
some
the day of the
priest.
patch, so
Yeah,
um,
that exactly.
but
So we're seeing a lot more classes.
but that aside, there is a lot more class diversity that you can go for. Basically, everything is viable. And
I'd
we'll
also
talk about that later.
I'd also probably say that some of these matches were played before the patch as well, so we might be seeing things like the 1 seed, Chewy and Rebob. That those classes are more pre-patch.
Sure.
Oh, I was muted because for a
Yeah.
second.
Okay. 16 Hunters does really seem like pre-patch brings.
Yeah.
And actually,
Demon
Itachi and I
Hunter's like
played.
okay post-patch, but it's not an auto bring for sure.
Oh, go ahead, Sharmo.
I was gonna say Itachi's in both of our matches was post-patch, and I didn't get to see Itachi's Demon Hunter, but I found a Demon Hunter deck that works really well. If you're interested, let me know. I can toss it your way.
Nice. Secret Demon Hunter coming soon. Now, I'll move us to our final hero match of the night. Nails, tell us about Barnes facing F2L Obsidian.
Yeah, so we had a really Barnes burner. F2L Obsidian took a really close 15-14 win over my team. Aquaman took a 3-2 win over Based. I had a 3-1 win over Owl. And Dr. Bombed beat Seth 3-2. S Slayer took a 3-2 win over Astral Frog, and Roadrunner beat Fish 3-2. Just a lot of back and forth Hearthstone, people trading games.
Fair.
Almost every set went to 5 games, and F2L just got there in the end. And a bunch of they took 3 out of 4 game fives, and that was the difference.
Nice.
I went into my match 5th, and I didn't realize that we were down 14 to, or we were down like 10 to 14.
Yeah.
And I might have queued differently if I had realized that, to try to have better sweep equity, but I got the win and got a 4 points. So I'm not. I think I played best to like maximize my chance of winning the set.
Yeah. I think we all forget this sometimes, but every point matters. It's
Every
just
point really does matter. Like especially in a season where it's this close.
exactly. It's going to be hero this season is crazy tough, and it's going to be a 1 or 2 point game in the end. See who makes it through, as always. Desharmo, anything you want to add about Barnes facing F2L Obsidian?
No, I think. I mean, I guess I said no, and then I say something kind of funny. Um, yes, I think this is just goes to show how tight Purple Conference is. And people saying free conference, but I would say I would rather say that every match is close, that every team is playing. I know Barnes is in the other conference, but F2L and Barnes are in 2 different spots right now, point wise, and F2L eked it out.
Yeah. Now, let's talk a bit about the standings. Let's take a look first at the Teal Conference standings. We've been talking a lot about Purple. Well, let's start with Teal. Neji, what's going on in Teal standings?
Yeah, if we take a look at Teal, we have F2L Black at the top with 86 points, Extraterrestrials of 83, Barnes of 82. At least I don't have Chicken with 76, Always Being Made with 70, and Dad Legend a bit down there at 50 points.
This is an interesting one. We have 3 teams kind of ahead, then 2 teams not too far from each other, and then just Dad Legend pretty behind. But meanwhile, if we look at the Purple Conference, I did mix it up. I'll just fix it right now. Deschambault, tell us what's going on in Purple.
Yeah, purple comparatively to teal is all tight. I mean, from top
Yeah.
to bottom, it's just everybody down there. I mean, you got the top four, awake all the way to the unknown, and then you got the bottom two, which are not that far out of it. One bad week from any of those teams is, they're bumped down, and those teams are bumped up.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's been a while since we've seen some like a season like this, right? When have you seen a season where really everyone's close together, Desharmo?
I've seen it a couple times, but oddly enough, it always happens in Hero.
Why Hero? Do you have any guess?
Yeah, I think there's less teams, and there's just a bunch of Hero nerds out there who love Hero and refuse to let the series die, and so they're just the same strong players playing every season.
Now, taking a look at the strong players playing this season, Desharmo, do you want to tell us our Hero player power ranking?
Yes, this is the one you sent me, right?
I sent you two of them. I sent you Hero and Legacy.
Yes, I got the Hero one. All right, I guess we could start from the bottom and go our way up, right? So we normally do.
Yeah?
All right, so the bottom five would be Ron Mexico with a 3-2, Pokemon with the 4-1, Ridiculous Hat with a 3-2, Dr. Bomb D with the 4-1, and Wild 9 with the 4-1. And then top 10 Nomad Farmer eking his way in there with a 3-2. Although I'm looking at his records, which is not up there. It's a 13-7, which is on par with a lot of the 4-1s. And then we got Jespine with the 4-1, your mom kid with the 4-1, Geranium Battle with the 4-1, Nails with the 4-1, Totino's Pizza with the 4-1, You Kitten Me with the 4-1, and then we got our 5-0s, Neji Boston 5-0, A2 Battleship 5-0, and Wayfair 5-0.
Nice. It's like we have a few of the people here in the show in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
surprising to see Neji Boston doing well in here this season, but
I feel that.
I mean, strong player, so not too surprising, but still pretty surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Any general comments you want to add here, Desharmo? Anything popped out to you when looking at this crazy list of players?
Yeah, these are like players that you see every time, every season. Top players that you see up here. And
Kind of surprising to see Wild9 that far down with a 14-3 game record. He's swept 4 times and 2-3 the other side, and that's not even good for top 10. This might be a little bit rigged.
yeah, I guess that's a Donde thing. I guess
Oh,
Wild
it's
Nine
Marty
didn't pay
now.
his dues.
It's
Oh,
Marty
Marty.
now.
Oh, maybe Wild Nine's paying his dues to Donde and forgot to pay his dues to Marty. So
That could happen. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, that seems like the most likely explanation.
I'm not involved in this list. I just paste it on the screen and send it to the players. Could I sabotage it? Yes, I could. But why would I do it for someone that's not myself?
I mean, so, some might suggest that the 5-0s are also in the wrong order, just based on game score.
So they're
but-
not entirely based on that though. They look into who you faced.
Yeah, and like Neji's played in 1 seeds, and Wayfair and A2 probably haven't. I don't think
Yeah.
they have.
Yeah. It tries to look into how above your PR you are, and even though Neji is doing really well, he's not above his PR.
yeah, and Wild
Okay,
Nine
sure.
and Wild Nine is a 1 seed player currently playing in the 2 seed. So
Yeah. Yeah, if you're playing a lower seed, you are definitely going to be.
Okay, but like I'm also
punished.
like 600 or so PR playing in the 2 seed, and I'm at number 6 with 4 more losses.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, not
I'm
completely
sticking with
defending
my
it.
claims that it's rigged.
That's fair.
Chef's confirmed that the 5-0s are in the right order. Okay, so we're good on that front.
actually, you Totinos and Kitten Me were like super close. But
Okay.
after that, Neji, A2, and Wayfair are way past that. But it was super close with those 4-1s right there.
So everyone ready for us to move on?
Let's do it.
All right. So we're going to move into Legacy. We're going to start our Legacy run going into Legacy Gold. So just a reminder, Legacy has three different conferences: Gold, Red, and Silver. And we are going to start with Legacy Gold. So our first match is F12 White facing the Pod People. Sharmo, tell me, how did this match go?
Yes, we got F2L White, which is currently 4-0-1, and Pod People 3-2. So every season, Pod People always seem to get in this position where they're just barely in or barely out,
Yeah,
and this is one of those games where it was close, even though it feels like the F2L White really destroyed them. It wasn't. I mean, look at the 1, 2, and the 4. They were all 3-2s. So they each one of those could have gone either way. Impressive Swaybe getting a 3-2 versus Totino's, which is a massive PR difference there, if you consider her hidden PR, and possibly maybe getting her first win of the season. And then Salad and Rebob getting a 3-2 over Ridiculous Hat and Starlax. Was surprising. Wicked Good got his first L, but Myanodon in the 3 seed is WTF. So
yeah.
Myanodon should not be in the 3 seed. And then
No.
and the only win for Pod People is Dragon Rider in the 4 seed. So that also is gross. So uh I mean this is a good showing from F2L. Well, over I think a sneaky good team. I think the Pod People is actually a really good team from top to bottom. And Pod People showing, hey, even though we're losing, we're getting 11 points, and we find that near the end of the season, these little extra points that you get do help.
For sure. Now, I want to ask Neji here. Anything you want to add about this one?
I think Ducharmo covered it pretty well. I like to look at the classes every time, and I mean, obviously the patch just hit, but we do have a lot of diversity here.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised to see priests. I don't think anybody had really started. Well, maybe a few people had started playing the new like Naga priest and buff priest, but um, other than that, I don't think priest was that good. Maybe boar priest, but this
War Priest was
is lower
fine.
seeds,
So
so
yeah,
you never know. Um, but yeah, not many rogues, which is a bit surprising because I think a lot of people are pretty hyped on rogue when the patch hit. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, good win from F12 White, getting a lot of points here and staying undefeated. Or wait, no, not undefeated. Close.
Well, they're undefeated, but they
Wait, is
haven't
that one
won
a tie
everyone.
or a loss?
It's a tie.
Oh, okay, that's the tie. Okay, so
I
they are
still
undefeated. I was
technically
right.
think they're undefeated, even though they're got a tie, right?
Technically,
Yeah.
they were not defeated; they were tied. So I guess, yeah,
they're
we'll
undefeated. Yeah,
we'll, we'll say it like that.
haven't lost yet.
True.
So moving to our second match in Gold Conference, Nails, tell us about Fishy Turnham facing Colossal Misplays.
Sure. So Colossal Misplays took a 14-10 victory over Fish Eternum. Yo Daddy beat Peewee 3-2. Ariana 20 swept Zencat. Zencat was previously undefeated on the season. Um, Chewy 3-1 to Jester. Two-Star Mako 3-1 to Two Fly. And Laughing Frog uh, swept Bite-Sized AC. Um,
Nice.
nice win for Colossal Misplays.
Yeah.
Um,
They were in last before this match. I just want to remind everyone that this is kind of a wake-up call for Colossal Misplays, I think.
yeah, start from the bottom, but only one way to get back in there, and they're like pretty clearly in the tier of teams that are like chasing for playoffs and have some gap to make up, but can plausibly get into the 4 seed.
Yeah,
So, I mean, winning this week probably had to happen for him, and it did.
sure.
They've got a pretty respectable points per week. Like, um, they're in second to last place, but they're not that far out of it. And with a couple big weeks, anything's possible.
Sure. DeSharmo, anything you want to share about Fisher Turnham facing colossal misplays?
Um, yeah, I think there's you're looking across the wins here. I don't think there's anything that's super surprising. Yo Daddy, I think is, in my opinion, for Legacy is sort of a hidden gem, 1 seed. I played against him. He's really good at what he does. So, and then getting a win over Agent PWE is huge. Even though they lost, I think that's a shining star for Fishy Turnham.
Yeah.
I mean, Agent PWE sits in often every season in the top 100 on ladder. So
We don't have to bring up what his current rank on ladder is.
I don't know what it is, but every time I see him on my list, it's top 100, sometimes even top 50.
He's triple digits, so we'll leave it at that.
That's not bad.
No.
I'm quadruple digits, so
There's nothing wrong with that.
So tell us, Nails, what are the gold standings looking like after this match?
Sure. So Blue Naga Cult is in first with 96. F2L White is close behind at 92. Fish Eternum, after their loss, has fallen a little bit back of the leaders, but they're still comfortably in third at 80. Pod People are in fourth at 76. And then the pack of teams chasing for the playoffs, we've got Hoot Me Dude at 66, Hot Zelfs at 64, Colossal Misplays at 62, and The Stubbs at 61. So none of those teams are out of it, but the bottom four have their work cut out for them for sure. They probably need pod people to drop a series or two and um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, not probably go 3-1, I guess. Like you don't have to win out from here, but um, you have to get some high point weeks out of it. Like getting the 23-point weeks goes a long way.
For sure. Now I'll keep us moving into Legacy, where we are going to start by looking at Season 21 Legacy team and their match against 4 Justins, 1 Sustin. And Neji, do you want to tell us what happened here?
Yeah, we had a close match. Season 21 THL Legacy Series team won 15-3 over 4 Justins, 1 Sustin. Season 21 DHL Legacy Series team is one of the best teams right now, and 4 Justins, 1 Sustin was arguably the best team last season. So definitely a pretty big powerhouse match here, and it was very close. There were no sweeps. Super Chain got a 3-1 over Wild Rose. German Shep 3-2 over Infinite. Nine Eyebrows staying undefeated 3-1 over Gamer Dude. Pokemon 661 3-2 over Thalfix. And You Kitten Me got a 3-2 over Skirt Reynolds. Nothing too surprising here. I'd say that I would expect Chicken and Shep to win their matches, and they did. And then down below, I think most of those are pretty close. So well done to Season 21 Legacy team. Getting up more points, going up to 4-1. And 4 Justins, 1 Sustin, they did get a good amount of points here. I think they're still fairly high in the standings, even though they have a 2-3 record. So surely they're not out of it at all.
For sure. Nails, anything you want to add here?
Not too much to add. Neji did a pretty good job of it. Good, like Neji said, the 2-3 record, but Team Justin has been getting a lot of high point weeks, and so still in a good position. And Chicken and Shep leading the way for their team They're just like having themselves a season 21 THL Legacy Series season.
Hmm. Now we've taken a look at the Justins. Let's look at the non-Justins. Nails, what is going on in the non-Justin side of things?
They took a close loss to HSA, 14-12. Mr. Beluga 3-1 to Ron. Ghost took a 3-2 victory over Autobutt. Pyro took a 3-1 victory over Booze. The Bigoted 3-1 to Walbo. And Shu came into sub and 3-1 to Ari. Both of these teams are having they needed a big week, and arguably neither of them got it.
Yeah.
They're both they're both still within spitting distance of playoffs, but probably wanted to get like um, 17, 18, somewhere in that range for points. So still good weeks, but like they didn't drop the ball or anything. But
Hmm.
when you're trying to make a playoff push, 14-point weeks aren't exactly what you're looking for. Like so, kind of tough for both teams, honestly.
Sure. Now, Desharmo, anything you want to add about the not Justins facing Hearthstone Academy?
Yeah, we got a scrub run Mexico, 1-4 so far. So gonna move to the 2 seed after this match.
And that's actually kind of surprising because Ron is 9-6 overall in THL this season, just having a poor legacy season, but he's 5-0 in pro and 3-2 in hero. Just HSA picked the wrong series to have Ron this season.
Ron always seems to have like one series every
Yeah.
time he plays where he struggles. I think it was Hero season last season, or a couple seasons ago, where he was like 1-9 or something, or
Yeah,
8.
that was the Neji carry season.
Yeah, and now it seems to be this one, and he lost bad too, 3-1. So
Yeah. Going to have to see if Ron is able to rise from the ashes and come back. Strong result in this end of expansion that honestly HSA needs. They don't have too much more time. There are, I think, 4 more weeks of Legacy, and that's it.
Yep, and like they're not eliminated yet. They're very realistic playoff contenders, but
Yeah.
so
they got to get that
they
PP
got to
money
get
up.
going, giddy up. Yeah, for sure.
Desharmo, tell us, what is Red Conference looking like right now?
Yeah, right now this red conference is looking like you got the top 2 teams just kind of holding down the fort. Likely in playoff contention unless some really disastrous things happen. And then you got Defias and the 4 Justins, 1 Sustin holding up the 3 and the 4. And then you got 2 contenders, I would say, not Justin and Hearthstone Academy, that could possibly take the 3 and the 4, but they got to have strong weeks. And then they got the bottom, the coolest. And I'm a legacy 3 seed needing to step it up now to get a chance to get into the playoffs.
Sure. Now, I'm
Yeah,
going to take the... Oh, go ahead.
5-4 wouldn't look out of place in the playoffs, but uh, at 1-4, you kind of do have to win out
Yeah,
to get there.
sure.
And
Let's take...
unfortunately for the coolest, they got the hardest schedule. So meaning they
Well,
probably
it should be easier for them moving
yeah
forward, right?
yeah. So they're likely to face easier teams. So
Yeah, if anyone's going to make a run, uh, could be them.
And they are last
They,
year's champions.
Yeah, the defending champs. So, yeah, anything can happen for sure.
Yeah. Now let's move to Silver Conference, where for our first match, I'm sure Neji has a lot to tell us about IDK facing SPG.
Of course, we have IDK taking an 18-10 victory over SPG. Both teams were 2-2 before this match, so IDK now has a positive winning record. We have JR taking 3-1 over Your Mum Kid, Vino Spumoni 3-1 over Blood Rose, Pescatarian 3-2 over Raptor, Jespin 3-2 over Super Murloc subbing in, and Mighty Biz 3-2 over Eternal. Let's see. Looking at records, nothing too surprising here. No sweeps, pretty close matches, and we also have a lot of class diversity between like both sides. One side has a lot of paladin, and the other side has zero
Won the week.
paladins. So
And the other side won the week.
he did win the week, and they had no paladins. So maybe that's telling you something here.
Carriel's fine.
Yeah, don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
SPG probably just didn't draw Carriel.
True. Yeah, big win for IDK. 18-10 is a pretty dominant win for them. So pushing themselves further up in the standings, and SPG is going to need some big points to keep themselves in the standings.
Sure. Desharmo, you're familiar with both of these teams. Tell me a bit about your view of this match.
Yeah, I think IDK is a sneaky strong team. We got Venus Spumoni in the 2 seed. I think it's a really good position for him to be in. And then you got a pretty strong 5 seed. Mighty Bits still at 50 PR, 4-1, really strong. With facing a struggling Eternal. But I think IDK puts themselves in a excellent position.
Yeah.
Right now. SPG not out of it as we can talk about I think we talk about the standings later, right? Or do we talk about it now?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Now, this isn't our only match tonight for Silver. We have a team that, if you look in AOS, they have the highest AOS by far in Silver. And we're going to take a look at their match here. Desharmo, tell us about Dad Legend facing Standard THL Degenerates.
Yeah, this was a match I played in. I was the last one to play. So yes, I did bring Demon Hunter. But I brought it only because I didn't submit my scores on time. So, but as you can see, my other teammates either did the same or they liked the idea of Demon Hunter, didn't think it was going to get destroyed. But we got big wins in the top 4 for Dad Legend. Dad Legend was 1-3 before this, needing needing a big week to put themselves in a better position that they were in last week. THL Degenerates needed this win against Dad Legend, so they don't fall out of contention. They were in a great position to sort of thrust more of a lead in the 3rd position, maybe scooping up to the 2nd position. But unfortunately, a very weak week this week kind of puts them there in the mix with the 3 all the way down to the 7 seed. Myself sweeping Dr. Bomb D, which I actually reported that as Dr. Bomb B sweeping me. So unfortunately for Dr. Bomb D, they didn't keep it that way.
Yeah, you can just get a board member to fix that.
Icicles in the 2 seed, most strong 2 seed, picking up a win over Memnarch. King Viking, our new player this season, really strong in the 3, picking up a win over Electric Soup City, 3-1. Yellow Dart picking up in the 4. Why he's still in the 4, I don't know why. 3-1 over Vampire Nighthawk, and then Hashter struggling a little bit this season, 3-2 versus Saku. Anytime Saku gets a win, you can't be mad.
No. Neji, anything you want to add about this one?
Pretty dominant win for Dad Legend picking up a ton of points. Looking at the classes, both teams kind of did the same thing. Like Ducharme said, the others followed along, all bringing Demon Hunter, Mage, Paladin, Warrior, except for Haster dropping DH and Mage. And apparently that was the winning strategy because they destroyed STD this week, bringing 4 rogues on their
DH
side.
Paladin Warrior got 4 wins.
It sure did. Yeah, and apparently Rogue was not too strong this week for standard THL degenerates. All of them bringing Rogue, and Saku did get the win, but the Rogue was banned, so we'll never know.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what Hester messed up. Is you're supposed to leave Rogue up.
I do want to point a really interesting pattern here. Dart, King Viking, Icicles, and Ducharme brought Demon Hunter, Mage, Paladin, and Warrior, and banned Demon Hunter, Mage, Paladin, and Warrior.
That is big.
I don't know why that
Awesome.
happened.
That is a great spot, Lotus.
It doesn't mean anything, but I've never seen a pattern like this before, and it has been really pretty to look at. It's
Yeah, they've just identified the top 4 classes are the top 4 classes.
yeah.
So they are equally powerful.
I kind
Apparently.
of disagree. Only the Paladin is in the correct place. I should have banned Demon Hunter, even though Dr. Bomb D didn't bring it. And then Isaac should have banned Mage.
True.
Viking got it right with the Paladin in the right place, and then Yellow Dart should have banned Warrior. That would have made it look even more prettier.
True.
Okay.
Factors.
So let's take a look at the silver standings. And Neji, tell us, are the Ka-Chow Clowns still reigning on top?
The Ka-Chow Clowns are still reigning on top. All of them won last week, keeping up a lot of points per week. We have Ka-Chow Clowns at 104 points. Illidan Death Knights have 81. Standard THL Degenerates with 67. Dad Legend with 66. SPG 64. Dumbledore's Armory also 64. Sunks of Drunken City 63. And Explosive Sheep at the bottom with 56 points.
Now, all 3rd to 7th place have basically the same point total. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, they're all within 4 points from the bottom to the top. So all of them have a very good chance of making playoffs. They just need some big weeks coming down the stretch here.
For sure. Now,
Well,
go ahead.
oh, the Ka-Chow Clowns are the only team to have broken 100 points in DHL so far this season. So congratulations to them for hitting that milestone.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shall we take a look at Legacy PPR, or do we just want to skip it to make sure Diamond doesn't get his ego too inflated?
Sounds like
That's
a
a good
skip it
point.
angle.
Ducharme will tell us what's going on in Legacy Power Rankings.
All right, we got starting with the honorable mentions. We got Vino Spumoni, 4-1. Big Money, 4-1. Genji, 4-0. Corridon, 4-1, and then Yo Daddy at 4-1, with a 12-2 record at that as well. So insane that he's 12-2.
Mm-hmm.
Only got 2 losses. Totino's Pizza, 4-1, 10 spot. Dragon Rider 9 at 4-1. Mr. Beluga, 4-1. German Shep, 5-0. The rest of these are going to be 5-0s. Nine Eyebrows, 5-0. Kodomora, 5-0. Nails, 5-0. Diamond, 5-0. Roadrunner, 5-0. And Cheese 10, 5-0. And 2 of these 5-0s happens to be on the Ka-Chow Clowns, the team that broke 100 points.
True. That's what you need to break that high of a point total. But this is an interesting one to me. It's not usually we kind of see a lot of the same names in the player power rankings every season in and out, and this feels more diverse than we usually do. It seems to be a few players that have been around but haven't been exploding as many seasons. Any thoughts on that, Ducharme?
Yeah, I mean a lot of these names are familiar names. A couple that don't stick out too much: Mr. Beluga, 11. Big Money, Genji, Yo Daddy don't really are kind of new, but everyone else in on this top 10 are familiar to me in some way, um, being on a list some at some point. German Shep, I'm not sure if he's played Legacy. Is this his first season playing Legacy, or has he played it before?
Um,
I think it might be his first season on a team. Maybe he's subbed a little bit, but yeah, okay, he's a rookie. We've got
Yeah, because
confirmation from Diamond 22.
I know German Shep from Pro, very very great player there, but being I think he's in the 2 seed in Legacy, so destroying some peeps there in the 2 seed.
sure.
Legacy 2 seed is a good time. Can confirm.
Now, with that, I'm going to move us to our main screen now that we're done with Legacy. And I want to ask you all about our commercial. Um, Today we have Desharmo doing our commercial with a very special emulation of Ron Reed if he can do it. Desharmo, go ahead.
What is the Ron read
It's a
exactly?
super fast, just dashing it.
All right, I might stutter, but I'm gonna try. Here we go. Hey there, Twitch viewers. Have you subscribed to Team Heart Legends yet? Then make today the day to be a league yourself and subscribe to our channel. This subscription enables the THL team to help cover various costs of our operating our website, as well as improve the quality of our memes and contents to our viewers. If you have Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime, you can sub to the channel for free. Subscribers will get a THL emoticon as well as a lovely THL chat badge. So hit the heart button and keep the notifications bing bong to make sure you catch our broadcasting live. We appreciate each and every one of you. Special note to our viewers, check out our THL's other social media. I don't know what that means. Points of interest. Website, teamheartleague.com. Follow us on Twitter at THL_HS. Join us on Discord, Team Heart League. The true Heart legend himself, Sokka, continues to post all of our videos on our YouTube channel. Just search for Team Heart League to catch everything previously recorded. Yeah, I'm reading this verbatim, so somebody put Bing Bong in there, and they put this word mediage, the word
um,
media, and then DGE,
uh,
that word.
there's still a second part.
Oh, I've missed the second page.
Yeah, it's large.
Okay, here we go. You are you are of course watching us on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv Team Heart League, or possibly on our YouTube channel in the future. And for all of you Teenage L fanatics out there are THLs every single what the heck, another word, most days of the week. You can't go wrong turning in for some banger Hearthstone related content. What the heck? Now back to the good part. Ka-chow.
All right.
What is
That was perfect.
I'm gonna type these
That
words
was
out in
great.
chat. These are interesting words. That word.
So our viewers might be noticing. I'll just explain the mechanic of this one. We're having a corrupt mechanic where each show we corrupt the commercial a bit more. So by the end of it, no one will understand our commercial anymore. And then we'll restart next season. I do want to say you did a great job reading with all that corruption, Desharmo. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Well done, Desharmage.
So I feel like this is a good point for us to move to Pro, and why don't we start with Pro EU? What do you all think?
Let's do it.
I feel like Pro EU has the more original series, and so much to talk about it this week. This has been a crazy week for Pro EU, and we're going to start with Nails taking us over League of Nations facing the Pannenkoeks.
Yeah, so the Cooks gave League of Nations their first loss of the season with a 15-13 win. Izad 3-1 max VDP and Gaboon 3-2 Pigeon, but then in the 3, 4, and 5, Cooks took the low seeds. Jack Tech 3-1 to Mighty. Fudov 3-2 to Dead 17, and Lasagna 3-2 to Den. So big win for Cooks, and certainly an upset. Izad and Gaboon are 5-0 in the series, and Mighty and Dead 17 are Masters Tour darlings. They seem to go 5 or 6 wins at every tournament. So really big wins for Pan and Cook in the 3 and 4 seeds, and Lasagna's win over Den to Clint Week, obviously. Nice as well.
For sure. Neji, anything you want to add about this one?
Yeah, nice win from Pan and Cooks. I'm surprised to see them at 2-2. I know of a lot of these players, and to see them at 2-2 just shows how strong the whole league is for Pro EU. Obviously, they've had a bye week, so they have less points overall, but still, I think they're a team to look out for sure,
Yeah, they're in
especially
4th place.
knocking down
That's really,
League of Nations.
they're right in the thick of the playoff race at 4th place in points per week.
Yeah,
And they've played a pretty hard schedule as well, the second hardest schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely no slouches in Pan Cooks.
Definitely not. And I think the competition in Pro EU is heating up so much. Let's take a look at this other match that I believe Desharmo is going to tell us about to see more about this heated competition. We have F2L Violet facing the worst team in record in Pro EU, Team Enigma.
Yeah. Surprising that they have such a low PPW, even with 2 wins. But anyway, moving on. F2L Violet, a team that is clearly in the running for the playoffs, is facing Team Enigma, who is a struggling team, almost having had double their points before this match. I think they did have double their points before the match, or close to it. Team Enigma picks up a win here, a surprising win. Either that means Team Enigma is actually stronger than they are, or maybe F2L Violet is showing a little bit of cracks here. We got wins from Gay Pirate versus Rami, Halo versus Itachi, and Salem's over Rebobson. Some really strong players to be beating in the 2 through the 5 seed versus people I've never heard of any of these names before. So, Super Fake still keeping the 5-0, and Copa keeping the 2-3. Looking at the matches here, I'm not sure when they were played, but a lot of aggro DH.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess most of these matches were played before the nerfs.
I would hope so. Some people didn't know. I did face an aggro DH in my match this week.
And I will also point out every team, every person that brought Boar Priest won.
True.
That is very true.
And I don't know. I find Boar Priest to be a very how do I say this? Very frustrating deck to play against, because
It is.
Sometimes they just can have everything, draw
Yes.
their entire deck by turn 8, and you're just done.
Oh, sometimes turn 7.
Yeah.
Turn 7's pretty rare. It's a solid high roll, but you can get turn 8 pretty consistently. It's a good deck.
Mm-hmm.
And the way a lot of these decks are, it's not the old Stormwind meta where you win by 8. A lot of these matches are going to turn 10, 11 sometimes. So if you can get a nice 8 win every turn, you get really good with the Boar Priest. It's I think it's a really strong deck to bring in an open deck list like this.
Yeah. Neji, anything you want to add to this one?
I think the guys covered it pretty well. Yeah, not much to add here.
Now, let's take a look at the Pro EU standings here. Desharmo, do you want to tell us how Pro U standings are looking?
Yeah, this is like it's like you got the top two, and then you got the bottom three, and then you got everybody else in between.
Mm-hmm.
So they got League of Nations up at top. They're getting their first L of the season, but holding up that one seed close to 100 points there. And then you got F2L and Donkey. Donkey on the is I would put them. They're really in the second place here because they have they have one less match than F2L Violet and a little bit better PPW. And then also Panan Cooks also as well, mostly in the small four slot because they've only had 4 matches as well.
Yeah.
But it's looking like it's starting to thin out a little bit here.
Sure.
What I find a little bit odd is again just the low PPW from Team Enigma, even though they've won 2 matches. It just goes to show you, even in your L's, you need to try to pick up some points.
Yeah, I think they had a 2-point week or something.
Yeah, I always play whenever I'm playing in THL. I always try to play for points, not for not for the win.
Yeah.
So if you face me, you probably know that's what's going to happen.
The secret anti-Desharmo strats here.
If I have a bad deck, I'm probably not going to open up with it.
Fair. Now, before Desharmo spoils his whole strategy, why don't we look at the pro player power rankings for EU Pro Series? So, Nails, tell us who made honorable mentions in Pro EU.
So, Paul Chua is a Pokemon player, and Paul Jua is Paul. I don't know how it's pronounced. Anyways, is 3-1. Fudav is 2-2. Chewy's 3-2. Vusk is 2-2, and Dead 17 is 3-2. Then at number 10 on the power rankings, we've got Groink. And number 9, Mighty is 3-2. Number 8, Jack Attack is 2-1. A Donkey is top 7 at 3-1. Razor is number 6 at 3-2. Rami is number 5 at 3-2. Glista, Glowonsta, Glonsta. I'm going with Glonsta. Is 4-1 at rank 4 on the power rankings. Then we've got the undefeated players. Super Fake, Izad, and Gaboom are all 5-0.
Nice. Feel like these are all insane players. Yes, it is rigged. I'll note that in advance. DM Marty and complain. He's giving his EU friends a higher position because that's what friends are for.
I will say that the records don't look especially rigged this time.
No.
Outside of, I guess, Groink is a little bit out of place with the 2-2 record, sneaking into the top 10, but
Yeah.
just nothing looks especially out of place
Agreed.
relative to normal, at least.
Agreed. Any final thoughts on Pro U before we move right into Pro NA, the original Pro Series? All right. So in Pro NA land, we have a different picture forming. I think we'll start with the black conference and then we go to pink that I actually consider the more exciting conference this week. And for our first match, we're going to be looking at the For the Boys facing faction. Neji, what happened there?
All right. We had For the Boys taking it 18-8 over Faction. German Shep 3-0 over GCT Turf. Flying Kraken 3-2 over Super Chicken. Fudov 3-2 over Mighty. Rekvom 3-0 over Tonberry Blue. And Dabs 3-2 over Fogey 8. Apparently, For the Boys thought the good decks were FeldH, Nagamage, and Thief Rogue as like the 3 decks, and then couldn't agree on the other one, but 2 Mech Paladins, 2 Burn Shells, 2 Charge Warriors, so weren't too far off. And apparently that was right this week because they crushed Faction 18-8.
Yeah, that was a strong showing for the boys. 18-8 is nuts. Sharmo, any thoughts here?
I think you guys covered it pretty good. Faction struggling a little bit. For the boys, not. Both have well, both have their positions. Faction needs to step it up if they want to get any chance of getting in, and for the boys, just need to keep doing what they're doing. And another diamond team. I feel like every time I come on the show, we're always talking about diamond teams. I mean, there's
True.
a reason why he's a Hall of Fame captain. He always somehow makes these ridiculous teams.
True. I do recommend if you haven't ever played in a Diamond team, DM him and try to play in one because they're so much fun. Diamond is a very dedicated captain. Now, with that said, I want to talk some more about Priest and Nails. Why don't we go into a match that you can't avoid but talk about Priest here?
Yeah, so one sec.
Sure.
Zyrella's disciples studying their teacher, I guess. Their master, probably teacher is a good word for someone who
Mm-hmm.
is like over a disciple.
Yeah.
Um, a disciplinarian, perhaps. Um, uh, Gambling did not make any appearances in this set because I think he rotated, but the disciples took a 14-12 win on the back of the priest class. Um, uh, mm, mm, Just Concede took a 3-2 victory over Seth. Battle Tiger 3-1 to Pace in a wild fight. Jespine, sorry, that is it. Yesbean swept the Sub Gravity Cat. ZLSJS 3-2 to Martian Boo, and Lasagna 3-1 to Maxibond. So yeah, as mentioned, Priest and lots of it.
Mm-hmm.
And even Taggers had a couple of negative Priest players on their side.
Yeah, reading the meta for the next week.
Yeah, just Priest was tied with Hunter as the most brought class
Oh,
on the set.
nice.
Start of the expansion, didn't think we would be seeing that one, but here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like Priest has caught up until they nerf Handmaiden, but in the meanwhile, do you see a bit of Priest resurgence here? Neji, anything you want to add about Priest Cyrella's disciples versus the Wild Team Taggers?
Um, I'll just add that 3 of Tagger's players brought Big Beast Hunter, and all 3 of them lost. So maybe Big
Yeah,
Beast Hunter is still bad.
It was
yeah,
banned once, though.
It was banned once, but apparently it didn't matter. They also lost. Unlucky.
fair. Now, let's take a look at the standings for Black Conference. Nails, what are the standings for Black looking like?
Brushy Tuna still undefeated at 5-0. Zarella's Disciples close behind with a 4-1 record. For the boys, only 3 points back despite the 3-2 record. Then a bit of a drop off from the leaders. APM has 71 points in fourth, and another gap. And Popeyes, surprising to see them at 1-4 on the season, but they've been maintaining solid points even while losing weeks. So they have 63. Taggers and Rotate Quest Please at 61 points. And then Faction close behind at 58.
Nice.
So a pretty clear top three, and then APM has a lead on the fourth place spot, but um, the every other team is certainly capable of catching up.
For sure. Now, let's take a look at the other conference, at Pink Conference. And our first match is honestly the biggest shocker we had in Pro this week, with Rope and Cope losing to Swagoy. Sharmo, tell us what happened there.
Yeah, absolutely. This was Rope and Cope was still at top of the conference, but at the time undefeated. And Sogoi struggling a little bit. I wouldn't say 2-2 is struggling, but not destroying the field. But Sogoi comes in really strong here, picking up the win in the bottom three seeds with I don't know how to say this name, Lenthesis or Lenthesis.
Synthesis.
I got Edelweiss and Risen picking up the wins there in the bottom three, and then really close in the two from Jared Pullet and No Way. Fortunately, No Ant Farmer not able to pick up anything in the one seed, but really strong showing from Swagoi. It put them in the midst of the playoff race for that 2 through the 4 seed, and sort of pulled Rope and Cope down a little bit from their high place, and showing that another team can strike and take that one seed position. I'm talking about the conference, and I should have been talking about the game, but
Oh, that's
apologies.
fine. I think this is an interesting one because we had Rope and Cope quite dominant in Pink, and then it suddenly reverted. So I think this is a thing to note.
Yeah, a lot of Naga Mage in this from both sides here.
Sure.
Some a Curse Warlock and Dankus the dad able to get a win with it because he 3-0'd. So
Yeah, that was something I thought was interesting. We had Curse Warlock here and Murloc Warlock. So I'm going to just do a quick detour here and ask Neji. Anything about those two decks that you think made him strong here? Are they back? Or born
I
again?
don't know if they're back, but they're certainly more powerful now. I think they're both real options to bring to THL now. And Warlock is not the garbage it used to be before the patch. So I'm not too surprised to see it here, honestly. I am a bit more surprised that we saw Big Beast Hunter again, but Dankus Dad got a 3-0 win, so obviously it got the job done for him. And I think it's Molestar normally in the one seed on Swagoy, and I think he's also 4-0, so it would have been interesting to see the matchup of two 4-0 players there, but unfortunately I had to sub out and Dankus Dad getting the win.
Sure.
yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't know about you, but I'm not a fan of Murloc Warlock. I think it's very linear. You know what's going to happen, and I think I think I don't know. I think it could be easily beaten.
Depends on the deck that you're playing, but it kind of does need Chum Bucket to get through a lot of its rougher matchups.
Yep.
If it hits that, it gets a lot of stats on the board really fast.
What I
Yeah.
find wins versus with the Murloc deck is actually Gigafin. Sometimes, especially a lot of those decks that can't get through, don't have the reach to hit the Gigafin
Yeah.
himself, and ends up just losing their entire board and losing the game, like Mech Shaman or Mech Mage, unless the Mech Mage is running Fireball. So that's where I find it gets the win. But if you can tech into that, I think that a lot of times can swing the game back in your way. I've had some matches versus Murloc Warlock where if they had Gigafin, I lost, and if they didn't have it, I won.
If you can get the Gigafin to spit out your Mecha Shark, though, and then you summon a bunch of mechs, you can get like 6, 9, 12 damage uh,
For
to
free?
the Murlocs board just as a response to
Actually,
fireballing the 7/4.
I actually had a match when I was playing Mech Paladin, and he ate all my mechs, and even my Colossus, and spit it out and gave me an extra draw one. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've had that interaction too. It's really funny, honestly. Getting to draw 2 cards off of the back of Gigafin always feels good.
Nice. That's fascinating. It's a weakness for Gigafin, but it is fascinating.
The card needs some weaknesses. It's very strong.
Extremely. Like if you can't kill Gigafin, it's usually game over.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11/11 body. The cast Twisting Nether is quite good. Or sorry, it's asymmetric Twisting Nether. Doesn't destroy your minions. Destroys their minions.
Yeah. Now, bringing us our final match of the night. I'll chow you up with the Bing Bong Big Top facing No Pros here. Neji, tell us about this one.
Yeah, Bing Bong, Big Top getting a big 17-6 victory over No Pros here. A bit of a revenge from the playoffs last season. Our team lost to No Pros here in the playoffs, so nice to get a win back against them. We had Excume taking a 3-1 over Izot, Nails 3-1 over Pee Wee, Kalis Luna 3-1 over Aquaman, Justin 3-0 over Kaz, and myself 3-0 over Your Mum Kid. So a lot of big wins. Izot did not get the win, unfortunately, but still got a good amount of points. And a funny thing to note here was talking with Pee Wee, and he said he submitted exactly Izot's lineup for Your Mum Kid this week. So I was just facing Izot's lineup, which was pretty funny. But
Nice.
other than that, happy with the win. Can't ask for much more here.
For sure.
Kazat's lineup did not go well for either player who submitted it.
True.
Um,
Should have picked any other lineup to submit.
Yeah. Nails, anything you want to add since you were also present in this one?
um, we figured out Charge Warrior by patch day. So uh, the clowns had a good time with that one. Can speak for my match specifically. PV got high rolled. My Charge Warrior killed him on turn 7.
Oh,
His warrior specifically. Like his control warrior. So that was a good time.
yeah.
Um,
I'm curious to ask how many for the depths happened.
2, and also he on his turn 6 he had played Mutinous and it whiffed, and then I killed him on my turn 7.
Nice.
It was he was a little bit upset about that one. Very
Fairly so.
understandable. And he was trying to target my warrior, and so to have that happen in game 1, it's not what Pee Wee fans were looking for. Kind of his lineup strategy sort of fell through.
That can happen. Targeting, especially in pro, it can be very dangerous, and it happens a lot that you miss.
Yeah, Charge Warrior is a pretty hard deck to target, but I think it's just very well positioned in the post-patch meta. But yeah, it's a nice one for the clones, I guess.
For sure. Um, Neji, tell us about the pink standings. Um, Anything interesting that you noticed there?
Yeah, Rope and Cope's lead is starting to fade a little bit. They're still at the top with 89. Bing Bong Big Top 81. F12 is 79. Swagoi has 76. Cheesemongers Unite have 72. Mr. Smite's at 58. No Pros here at 57. And Pondering My Ape at 56. I'm pretty sure there aren't that many weeks left in Pro. I think there's like 2 or 3 weeks left. So it's going to be tough for the teams at the bottom to overcome that. I'd say Mr. Smite's side and below, it's going to be pretty tough to make playoffs at this point, but you never know. Maybe two big sweep weeks could carry them up there.
Sure.
Got the top two teams playing this week, which is always fun.
Ooh, that's going to be a fun one. We're going to be covering it next week for sure. But it's time for us to talk about PPR for Pro Series. And to bring us our PPR, we have Neji. Neji, who made the top 10 players? Or let's start with the honorable mentions in Pro Series.
Right. Our honorable mentions start with Flying Kraken at 15th, Nails 4-1 at 14th, Marty B 4-1 at 13th, Heat Shock 3-2 at 12th, XQMA 3-2 at 11th. Those are our honorable mentions. And then moving into our top 10, we have Not Bamity 10th at 3-1. 9th place is Rebobson 4-1. 8th place German Shep 4-1. 7th place Dankus Dad at 5-0. 6th place Mick Banterface 5-0. 5th place is Noah H 4-1. 4th place Lambie Series 4-1. 3rd place Karate Dom 4-1. 2nd place Just Concede 4-1. And number 1 is Ron Mexico at 5-0. So for some reason we have 4-1 players in between the two other 5-0 players on the power rankings. Not sure about that one. A little.
It appears that Dinkus Dad dropped 5 slots after he swept last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should have
those
faced
are the rules.
Molestar.
Yeah.
You really should have faced Molestar.
If he faced Molestar and won, he might be number 1. Who knows? But he faced someone else and won, so he's 7th.
That's fair. I guess that's how the rules go. I will note this should get more and more focused on players who aren't losing, as it has for the other series. But blame Marty. You can DM him at NHLNJFan and just complain if you want. I DM him all the time, so feel free to DM him and say that his power rankings are rigged. So with that said, I want to bring us back to the caster screen. I want to give a super special thanks to everyone who's here tonight. I want to give a special thank you for Nails, Neji Boston, and Desharmo for joining me in this great show. I had a lot of fun. We have a checkout question for tonight. Our checkout question is, how effective do you think were the nerfs and buffs at changing the current meta? And I'm going to start with Nails. Nails, one more time, thank you for joining me tonight. Always great having you. How do you think the nerfs were effective?
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. The nerfs and buffs have done a great job of shaking up the meta. DH kind of had a chokehold on every other aggressive deck and was alarmingly good into all of the defensive decks. And it just kind of got shut down. And Drexthar is no longer relevant in the game. And that is glorious because Call to Barnes did not really make games fun. Just a massive power spike early game and like a greatly so like the difference between Drexthar and no Drexthar was just so big, and so not having to deal with that feels better.
Thank you one more time, Nails, for joining us tonight. Neji, I want to give you a super special thank you for joining us for tonight's show. As always, great thoughts and great opinions. My question for you is, how effective do you think were the nerfs and buffs at fixing the meta?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I always enjoy it on here. I haven't been playing too much, but I do know just from prepping for matches that a lot of things have changed, and it is a lot more interesting trying to build lineups and pick classes for Hero and Legacy now. Not having to just pick DH or ban DH and deal with that. So I'm happy about that. Also happy that Rogue is pretty decent again. You had Pyro Rogue before, which was not a bad deck, had its good matchups. But having the Thief package is really cool. I like Wild Panol. I think it's a lot better without Secret Passage. It's still pretty broken as a card, but without Secret Passage, it's less so, I'd say. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
Nice. And last but not least, I want to thank our special last minute show up here. DeSharmo, thank you so much for joining us. It's always, always, always great having you, as you know. And I want to thank you for being here with us tonight and invite you, as always, to be here whenever you'd like. My question for you
Thank
tonight
you.
is how do you feel about the nerfs and buffs? Were they effective in changing the meta?
Yeah, I think everybody else kind of covered it pretty clearly. I think I don't know. I know Ron Mexico would like this, but I think Demon Hunter got a hit a little bit too hard, from my honest opinion. But it did
Fair?
need a little bit of a nerf. It was holding back other aggro decks, as they were saying. And Druid is now in the dumps again. Uh, I mean, there's some decks there, but I like to see maybe those two classes get a little nudge somewhere to get them back a little bit better in contention. But I like that Priest now has a viable deck. Priest has been ever since that control Priest meta back way back. Was it like last year?
That was
Nobody's
a year
wanted
ago.
nobody's wanted Priest to be good, and now here it is. You're seeing it in pro. You're seeing it everywhere. So
Yeah. I'm not sure Boar is the best deck for the health of the meta, but I do agree with you. It's good to see Priest back. And with that said, I think that is it for us tonight. I want to give a very special thanks one last time for Nails, Neji Boston, and DeSharmo for joining me tonight. It's always great having you all. Thank you for our viewers. Remember, Wild and Out is coming back in 2 days with the coolest Wild matches and just doing the same we do, but for Wild. With a Wild expert crew that we really don't have, I think. Um, and with that said, do that. If you want to volunteer for matches, use the Stream Matches channel in the Discord. We're always looking for matches for basically all time slots. You can just post, and we'll try to find a time slot for you. If you want to cast, we are looking for casters, so you can just DM me and say I want to cast, and we'll try to fit a slot or a show for you. Just let me know. With that said, have a good night, everyone, and we will see you all later.